Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. One of my most requested videos of all time is a brow routine. Eyebrows are one of my favorite things to do in the entire world. I will leave the house with my eyebrows before I leave the house with mascara. They are so important to me. So today I'm gonna jump right in and show you guys how I groom, how I pluck, how I trim, how I fill in, everything else to do with my eyebrows. So if you guys wanna know how I get my eyebrows to look like this, then just keep watching. And brace yourselves because you are about to see me without any eye makeup or lipstick or anything like that in 3, 2, 1. So this is how my brows look when there's absolutely nothing on them and I literally have not plucked them or trimmed them or anything like that in about 3 weeks now, specifically for this video because I wanted to show you guys everything. So first things first, normally I do pretty much everything to do with my brows right after I get out of the shower. That usually is the point in time where your brows are nice and softened and it doesn't hurt as much when you try to pluck out your brows. So if you want to try that out, I recommend it. It's a lot less painful to do it when your skin is a little bit softer. Okay, let me zoom in a little bit closer and we will start this brow routine. I don't know what that was. Okay, so the first thing I'm gonna do is brush out my brows. For this, oh, there's like a hair attached to that, ew. I use a spoolie brush like this. This is actually by Anastasia, and it has a spoolie on one end and an angled little eyebrow brush or eyeliner brush, whatever you wanna call it, on the other end. And I use just the spoolie to brush everything out. I'm gonna get rid of pretty much all of these baby hairs down here that you can kind of see growing in a little bit. It's been definitely a long time since I plucked my brows, so they're kind of growing in pretty fiercely at this moment. For plucking, I'm also using Anastasia tweezers. Tweezerman makes really good tweezers as well. I've had these ones forever. Good tweezers are pretty expensive, but they do the job so much better than any cheap tweezers I've ever tried. So we're gonna just start plucking away. When I pluck my brows, I pluck in the direction of the hair growth. So these hairs I'm pulling back toward my temple, where in the direction that they're growing. And if you've never plucked your brows before, this is definitely something like, it doesn't feel fantastic by any means, but it definitely gets a lot less painful the more you do it. And you also get better at it. So then I'm gonna take the spoolie, I'm gonna brush everything out again, see if there's any that I missed. And now I'm gonna start plucking random eyebrows that I don't want. So I get them toward the tail of my brow, these like really long, freakishly long eyebrows. Like, I don't know if you can see that, but this guy is literally like a centimeter long. And he looks kind of like a monster, so we're gonna get rid of him. There we go. See, look at that. Can you see this guy? Look at that eyebrow. He's like freakishly long. Can you see that brow? I don't know. I don't usually like to pluck above the actual brow because I feel like that's where a lot of your eyebrow shape comes from, and I really like the shape of my eyebrows. I don't want to manipulate it too much. So I like to pluck pretty much below, or I'll pluck above on the tail section. This part, I like to leave it. I like to leave it. My eyebrows are really long. The actual hairs themselves get really, really long. See, look at that. When I brush up like that, you can kind of see they get like mad scientist-like. When you brush your eyebrows up like this, you can see pretty clearly, or at least I can, and yours might be different. I can see very clearly where the shape of my brow is, like where the actual shape is. You can get little scissors like this at pretty much any drugstore. They might be in the nail section. I just use these guys to trim all of those brows. Hold on, I have to brush it up again. And trim them. And I'll do this a few times just to ensure that I'm getting the actual shape of the brow that I want. And usually this is when I get like really close to my mirror. And then I'll do the exact same thing except brushing down. Again, you can see a lot of where the eyebrow should not be, and this is where a lot of the trimming of my arch comes in. These hairs are a little bit harder to brush upward, so I brush them down and do the exact same thing. I see the line of where I want my brow to be, and I trim any hairs that are kind of freaking out and sticking out in places where I don't want them. This This is so hard after I've had like 3 cups of coffee. Don't be me. Don't drink coffee right before you do this. So this is the before and this is the after. So far, anyway. Once I'm happy with how it all looks in the grooming process, this is where I start filling it in. For a few years now, this is what I have used to fill in my brows. It's the Maybelline Define a Brow, and currently I'm using the medium brown shade. I really like it. I haven't found anything that I like more than this. I do like the Anastasia products a lot, but they're so expensive that I haven't bought them in a really long time. The beginning part of my brows are quite thick and full, but right about the arch area, and I find that this is true with most people, this is where it starts to thin out. And so what I will do is I will just start filling it in the thin parts up to where the brow actually arches. So I'll start right here. Using pretty light, quick strokes, because again, you can always add more, but it's a little bit more difficult to take away what you've already placed. And so once I have filled it into the actual arch of my brow, this is like the highest point of my brow, I pretty much take a straight line and start dragging it through the tail of my eyebrow. I also tend to use a heavier hand when I'm working with the tail because it's so much thinner than the rest of my brow. And I really like that portion of my eyebrows to look really defined. Once the tail is filled in how I like it, I will go in and lightly go through the front of my eyebrow. Make it all one color is what I'm going for. And then I will take the spoolie brush and just brush through it a bit. Focusing mainly on the beginning part of my eyebrow because I don't want this really to move all that much because I like it to look really defined. And that's pretty much how I do my eyebrows on a pretty regular basis. This is a little bit heavier than I normally go, just because I wanted to make sure you guys understood exactly what I was going. So it does look a little bit more intense than I would normally feel comfortable with, but I think it shows how I do it pretty well. And if you're somebody who likes even more added definition, then I recommend taking a concealer. This is the NYX HD Concealer in 01. It's like the lightest shade they have. And I will go in with a little concealer brush. This is by Real Techniques and it's their detailer brush. But I will take the concealer, get a little bit of it on my brush, and pretty much outline my eyebrow. So I'll start at the tail and go down. And again, we're working with pretty light hand right here. This just adds a little bit of crispness to your eyebrow and makes it look really chic and intense. And I will just kind of blot this away with my finger. Here we go. Again, that's not something I do every day. Usually I don't use concealer, but if I'm doing like a really intense smoky eye, then I absolutely will. If you're using a product that does kind of move around a little bit, I would set it with a clear mascara or eyebrow gel. This is the Great Lash Clear Mascara. You can get this also at the drugstore. And I will just kind of brush this through my brows.
So kind of a failure on my part. I definitely did not film an end slate for this at all. Sorry if you hear my dog. She's like, let me out of my crate, I want to play and get loved on. I'm literally sitting here editing this video that you have just watched, and apparently I didn't film the whole end spiel. Oh my god. So anyway, I hope this helped you guys out if you're wanting to find a new routine for your eyebrows. If you like this video, make sure you give it a big thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye!